It's showing we're live. Are you showing, Kathleen?
Yeah, if you could just wait for my prompt, because I just like to make sure it's on the website too.
Okay.
But I know it does flash in the corner.
Yeah.
Yep, we're good. Okay, Todd, we are ready for you.
We want to move to get out of executive session. Did we do that?
Oh, that's
No.
right. I'm sorry. Yes.
I move that we exit executive session.
I'll second.
Roll call, Amy?
Vicky,
Yes.
Sabrina,
Yes.
Kathleen,
Yes.
is there action?
No action. Okay. We're really ready for you, Todd.
If you want to do the resolutions first, did you get the bill run list?
Yes,
I did not yet. Hold on.
he emailed it to us.
I think,
I
yeah.
know, I didn't open it quite yet. Okay, I got it.
Okay, one of the good news, I guess, if you will, is that this bill run and last week's were a little lighter than usual, not significant, but it may be showing that some of our expenditures are slowing during this time as well, which will help. But like medical mutual of 99,000, usually we're around 130,000 or so. The question is whether all those expenses, if you will, are building up here, and then in August or September they're going to explode. But anyways, in terms of a bill run, these are actually fairly light numbers coming in, nothing unusual. In fact, the then and now, there's one payment for 199,000. So if you take that off, a very, very light then and now, which is good news, although something that should be expected here moving into the, the second third of the year, so to speak. So I don't have anything to point out for you if you don't have any questions.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you said there's nothing out of the ordinary on any of these bill runs, Todd?
That's correct. Other than, again,
Okay.
they are a little bit light, but that's good
Lighter,
news.
yeah. Okay, I'm fine with them.
Okay, do we want to go to the resolutions first then?
Yes.
Yeah.
Move that the Board of Commissioners agrees to approve the Thursday, April 30, 2020 bills, ACH payments as presented by the County Auditor and reviewed by the Board of Commissioners, Department of Budget and Financial Management, Department of Internal Services, or other designee.
I will second.
Roll call, Amy?
Vicky,
Yes.
Sabrina,
Yes.
Kathleen,
Yes.
Move that the Board of Commissioners agrees to approve the Thursday, April 30, 2020 wire transfers for health benefits as presented by the County Auditor and reviewed by the Board of Commissioners, Department of Budget and Financial Management, Department of Internal Services, or other designee.
I will second.
Roll call, Amy?
Vicky,
Yes.
Sabrina,
Yes.
Kathleen,
Yes.
Move that the Board of Commissioners agrees to approve the Thursday, April 30, 2020 journal vouchers as presented by the County Auditor and reviewed by the Board of Commissioners, Department of Budget and Financial Management, Department of Internal Services, or other designee.
I will second.
Roll call, Amy?
Vicky,
Yes.
Sabrina,
Yes.
Kathleen,
Yes.
Move that the Board of Commissioners agrees to approve the Thursday, April 30, 2020 then and now certification as presented by the County Auditor and reviewed by the Board of Commissioners, Department of Budget and Financial Management, Department of Internal Services, or other designee.
I will second.
Roll call, Amy?
Vicky,
Yes.
Sabrina,
Yes.
Kathleen,
Yes.
Move that the Board of Commissioners agrees to amend the General Fund 2020 Annual Appropriation Resolution number 19-0947 adopted December 19, 2019.
Okay, I will second.
Todd, could you give us some brief explanation on this, the 233,000?
Yeah, and I just want to point out these have not been, they have not gone through Gene. They came in last week, so I went ahead and brought them to the board. Gene and I are meeting tomorrow to figure out how these type of things are going to proceed in the future. But this one in particular is setting money aside for Joanne to proceed with the next steps of the dam, Pretty Glen Dam, I believe in conversation maybe she had with you guys last week.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay. I think
Do
I
you have a
second.
second on that?
Yeah,
Okay,
second.
roll call, Amy.
Vicky,
Yes.
Sabrina,
Yes.
Kathleen.
Yes.
Move that the Board of Commissioners agree to amend the non-general fund 2020 annual appropriation resolution number 19-0948 adopted December 19, 2019.
I will second.
Todd, this is a,
Yeah, there's a JFS that's just moving money for their projects. And then that $153 is refunds from the dental program to employees that had quit, had their vacation payouts made, and the medical was taken out of their vacation payout, which it shouldn't have been because they weren't actually working during that period. And so that's to refund those.
Okay.
roll call, Amy.
Vicky,
Yes.
Sabrina,
Yes.
Kathleen.
Yes.
And then
All right,
moving to
Todd.
this, I actually had a call this morning from Vicky with Veteran Services. You know, a lot of communities are canceling their Memorial Day parades. And historically, the commissioners had provided some minimal funding to organizations to help finance those parades. Her question that came from one of the organizations is, would the commissioners be able to or willing to move that funding to possibly into June for Flag Day or something like that, where they could still find a way to honor veterans and that type of thing. I told her I would run that by the board. Again, I just got the email this morning. So if that's something you'd be interested in, we can talk about it next week, and then I can let her know.
Okay.
The other discussion item,
Yeah,
the
that'd
revolving
be good.
fund, that came from Mike Bogo. They would like to put together a package. They are thinking probably 2-year loans at around 2% interest that businesses could apply for. They would be up to $10,000 each. And basically the funds could be used for anything to get their businesses back up and running. You know, a lot of like stores and those type of things, restaurants, they have no inventory because they haven't known when they're going to reopen. This would provide them funds so that they can quickly get those, you know, materials on order. And it would also give them a little bit more confidence to perhaps hire employees sooner than they normally might have had they had only to rely on their funds. The focus would be on smaller businesses and also businesses that had not received any of the federal assistance that had already been applied, I believe, a month ago. And then there's maybe a second round coming. But again, it would be to focus on those businesses who either didn't qualify or didn't receive that funding. We have 143 in our economic development revolver fund. They'd like to get up to around 250. If we were to go beyond that, we would need to use the housing funds, which we will more than likely be able to get a waiver for. I'm recommending, we have 270. I'm recommending that we set aside around 160 of that. Again, you'll recall using those funds is always an issue with the state. If we don't use them fast enough, they actually take away from our grants. So it's a good thing to get it used.
So Todd, you're talking about 160 coming from the housing,
Correct.
and then you said we had 143 just in the revolver.
Correct. So that would give the county share around 300,000. NDS is putting some of their own money into this, and then the city of Ravenna is also using some of their revolving funds, and they're already reaching out to some of the other cities. So it's a pretty good pot of money to start with. My recommendation is we use our 140, and then if there are more applicants than that, we could begin moving the money from that housing fund.
Todd,
Yeah.
on the $10,000, I know that other communities are doing something more in the ballpark of 5,000. Is that number still being discussed? Or
I think it can definitely be talked about. We are doing loans. We're not doing grants. So it is being paid back. Obviously, the business doesn't have to take the full 10,000. They could take less if they wanted to. I guess in my mind, you don't necessarily want to restrict their ability to open. The whole purpose of this is to get them open. Whether 5,000 would be enough or 10,000, we can make it whatever you want. The idea was, though, it's not a grant, so we are going to get the money back however much they take, and NDS will put them through their usual vetting process to make sure that they are, established businesses and they have viable financials.
So there will be like an application and stuff. Will they?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
And it'll have to follow all the, this is CDBG based money. It'll still have to follow all the guidelines and whatnot.
Okay.
And each project would still come to the board individually, for approval, similar to what they already do. But I can tell you, if you want to change that amount, if you want to think about it, we don't have to do anything this week other than discuss the idea. Eventually, you would do a journal entry setting aside the funds, and then NDS would still be coming to you with the program of how it would actually work. Obviously, the county share would go towards businesses in the unincorporated areas. Ravenna would be covering their area, and then NDS, I believe, would be covering the whole county as well.
I think if you come to us with the journal entry next week, I think this is something that we've all expressed support for, and then we can continue to hear from, NDS can present, their proposal for it, and we can give feedback at that point. And the numbers maybe could change between now and then. It sounds like this is still information, I'm sure, moving quickly. I know that in Summit County and Stark County, they've had some small business grant and loan programs similar to this. And the demand was very high, as I'm sure you can imagine. And I just wouldn't, it'd be nice to be able to help as many people as possible. If a number more like 5,000 or 7,500 is still impactful and we're able to help more businesses, I think that's something to think about. But I would trust that you could communicate that to NDS, that they're probably already thinking about that as
Well, you know
we
what?
all put these pieces together.
I think we could always do it up to 10,000. It's like with the PPP loan, our grant, people were guaranteed, well, not guaranteed, they were eligible for up to 2.5 times what their average payroll was. But I know a lot of businesses that didn't take the full 2.5 and they requested less. But I also know there's a lot of people who did not receive the first round. And the second round, I think, opened up either yesterday or Monday, and there's already problems with the system. And there's a lot of small businesses that desperately need some kind of assistance in order to even have a chance at survival after we get through the pandemic. And I think this would look very good, especially coming from the county commissioners who are, one of the driving forces for economic growth and development in our county. I think this would be a great way to utilize these funds. And as Todd said, in some of these, if we don't use the funds, we lose them.
Right, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. And I'm glad that NDS, and I contacted the Portage Development Board when I saw that Summit County and Stark County and Cuyahoga and Franklin had done programs like this. And I think, and said, what can we do here in Portage to help our small
Yeah.
businesses? This is important for us too. And Brad, NDS, our Portage Economic Development Board and NDS work together to think of how can we, as a county and these other entities working together with our cities, help our small businesses. So agree, this is very important. And I'm glad that we're talking about it today, and I think we should move forward with that journal entry next week, Todd. And I think it'd be good
Yeah.
to have the NDS in or zoomed in as soon as they're ready to talk a little bit more about the details and get this rolling.
I
Do
agree.
you want next week?
Yes,
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
The journal
I think
entry next
sooner-
week and NDS when they're ready, which hopefully would be next week, but you know,
Yeah,
we can.
Well, I'll reach out to them, but I'm sure they're ready. And again, we wouldn't just be giving businesses 10,000 just because they say we want it. Obviously, they're going to provide the
No.
list of a purchase.
Right,
so they
no
would have to
one,
justify that amount.
yeah, no one's saying that we would just hand out money. I mean, there would be a vetting process, like you already said, through NDS, and
Right.
they're
it would be their normal vetting process.
skilled at doing this,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
But they'd also have to provide like the list of what they're going to purchase. You know what I mean? To show where the
Yeah,
money's being
yeah.
used. But yeah, NDS would be processing all those applications. I'll get a hold of them. I'm sure that they're going to be ready because again, they wanted to kind of have this in place here for this governor's reopening and make sure that businesses are comfortable with what they can do. And one of the stipulations would also be that they do follow the health department guidelines, the governor's guidelines in terms of who can open, how they have to open, what they have to do to stay open, all those type of things.
Yeah.
Do you want us to do a journal entry today?
You could, if you want to set aside 140,000 from the economic development revolver and up to $160,000 from the CDBG housing. You could absolutely do that today.
And should that be contingent upon getting approval from the state that we can use the housing
yes.
funds?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
so are we doing the journal entry today?
Yeah. Do you want to do it now? Because
You
I
can, yes. All you have to do is set aside those funds. That's all. Set aside those funds for the startup business loan project, and then that will get everything started.
Okay.
Will you type that up briefly and send us a journal entry?
Yeah.
Okay, great. We can do that today.
Great, thank you. Thanks, Todd.
And now time to
Absolutely.
get the budget letter.
Yeah, I'm not sure why that was under me, but that's we should get started on the tax budget. I asked Amy to get that to Gene. I assume it will either be going out under him or the commissioners. But the tax budget generally starts May 1st here, and then we need to pass it by July. Well, it has to be passed by July 15th. I haven't looked what Thursday that'll be. But typically the month of June, then we are processing people's requests. So we do want to get that letter out no later than the end of next week if we can.
I think it looks good, and I think it's fine for it to go out from the commissioners.
Yeah, and I think it should go out sooner than later because I know I was on a conference call yesterday, and I know everyone's looking at like a 20% downturn at least in revenues and cuts, and they're asking the elected officials and department heads to start looking now at ways that they can reduce cost. So,
When you say everyone's looking at a 20% cut, who's everyone?
I was on a conference call yesterday with CCAO, and just in general, people, when they were going around the room, they were saying they're looking at 20% reduction, and it was across the board from varying counties that they're anticipating. And again, they won't know more until second quarter to see where our tax revenues are coming from. But that's what everyone now is anticipating, at least 20%.
Well, the state budget's July to June, and that actually is guidance that the state is putting out to state departments, whether it comes to that, but right now that is kind of the general guidance, if you will.
Yeah, 20% seems to be the number people are looking at least at this point. And again, it's very fluid going forward. And a lot of it has to depend on, the second quarter.
So Todd, I think that we can, that we're okay in this letter
Yeah.
for you to send out.
Well, it's if it's from you guys, you just need Amy and Julie to prepare that final
Yeah.
draft and then sign it.
Yep.
We're ready
Okay.
to Munich, go out whenever.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's ready today for signature.
Okay. All right.
Okay, great.
I'll be in to
And
sign
it's
it.
dated May 1st, right, Amy?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, I'm
Okay,
writing
great.
up that journal. I'll be getting that to you guys. Just let me know if it passes, and then I'll let NDS know.
Okay, will do. Thank you, Todd.
Bye.
Okay.
Do our miscellaneous items.
Move that the Board of Commissioners approve the April 23, 2020 regular meeting minutes.
I will second.
Roll call, Amy?
Vicky,
Yes.
Sabrina,
Yes.
Kathleen.
Yes.
Move that the Board of Commissioners approve a request for installment payments for Christopher K. Schultz of connection charges for connections to the sanitary sewage system in the Portage County Regional Sewer District and establishing the terms and conditions of the same.
Okay. I will second.
Roll call, Amy?
Vicky,
Yes.
Sabrina,
Yes.
Kathleen.
Yes.
Move that the Board of Commissioners acknowledge the receipt of the April 20, 2020 certificate of the county auditor that the total appropriations from each fund do not exceed the official estimate resources for the fiscal year beginning January 1, 2020, as presented by the Portage County Auditor's Office.
I will second.
Roll call, Amy?
Vicky,
Yes.
Sabrina,
Yes.
Kathleen.
Yes.
Move that the Board of Commissioners acknowledge the receipt of the Portage County Investment Reconciliation for the month of March 2020, received on April 20, 2020, as presented by the County Auditor and County Treasurer.
I will second.
Roll call, Amy?
Vicky,
Yes.
Sabrina,
Yes.
Kathleen.
Yes. All right, and then I did an add-on today after our discussions earlier this week about the reconstitution plan and the role of the county administrator. We put together a resolution working with the EMA and Jean and checking with the prosecutor to make sure that the language was done correctly, but it authorizes the county administrator to exercise powers delegated under 305.30, just section J, which is the part about emergency authority. And then I anticipate that next week we can come back with a broader resolution with more discussion with the board about the other sections, A through, it's not that long of a statute, but with the duties and powers under 305.30. But today would just be the narrow emergency authority.
Okay, I move we authorize the county administrator to exercise powers delegated hereby under the RC 305-30J.
Okay. I will second.
Roll call, Amy?
Vicky,
Yes.
Sabrina,
Yes.
Kathleen.
Yes. Let's see if Todd sent
Todd
that journal
does.
entry.
I'm not showing yet.
Let's just stand by for a moment.
Oh, it's here. It's here. Did you guys get it?
Yeah, I see it.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the journal entry that the Portage County Commissioners agreed to set aside $140,000 from the Economic Development Revolving Loan Fund and up to $160,000 from the CDBG Housing Revolving Loan Fund if needed, and contingent upon receiving a waiver for such use from the state for COVID-19 business startup funding to assist Portage County businesses with starting back up after the shutdown related to COVID-19 health emergency.
Second,
Roll call, Amy?
Sabrina,
Yes,
Vicky,
yes.
Kathleen.
Yes. All right, with no further business to come before the board, do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved,
I will second.
Roll call, Amy?
Vicky,
yes.
Sabrina,
Yes.
Kathleen.
Yes. All right, have a great day, everybody.
You
All
too.
right, thanks.